For so many people, dealing with chronic skin conditions is just a constant battle. The treatments have often felt like using a hammer when you really needed a scalpel. But that's all starting to change, and fast. Today, we're going to dive into the new science of dermatology. And it is a massive shift, moving away from just calming down symptoms to actually targeting the root cause of skin disease with some incredible precision.
Okay, so here's the game plan. We're going to start by getting a handle on just how big this problem is. Then we'll explore the science behind this whole targeted therapy idea. After that, we'll look at some real-world solutions that are already helping people. And finally, we'll take a little peek into the future to see what's coming next. And really, it all boils down to this one powerful question. This is the idea that's driving a complete revolution in dermatology. It's about switching from playing defense to finally going on offense against these conditions.
So first things first, let's set the stage a bit. We really need to understand the huge range of these conditions and just how many people they affect.
And we're talking about a huge range of conditions here. Psoriasis, eczema, acne, alopecia, the list goes on. For the millions of people who live with these every day, they are not just cosmetic issues. They're often painful, they're chronic, and for a long time, the broad treatments we had just weren't cutting it. It was this endless cycle of flare-ups and frustration.
All right, so how is the science actually changing? This is where things get really, really interesting. This is the game changer.
To get it, we first have to understand what systemic therapy is. See, unlike a cream you put on your skin, which just works on the surface, these treatments work from the inside out. They travel through your bloodstream to get right to the biological root cause of the disease.
And this slide, wow, it just lays it out so perfectly. The old approach was that sledgehammer I mentioned, broadly suppressing the immune system. The problem? It often hit healthy cells too. But this new approach, targeted inhibition, that's the scalpel. It is incredibly precise, focusing only on the specific troublemakers, the biological pathways that are actually causing the disease.
So what do we really mean by targeted? Well, think of it like a key that's been designed to fit one very specific lock. These drugs are engineered to find and block the exact molecules, things like JAK or IL-17, that are sending the wrong signals and causing all that inflammation while just leaving everything else alone to do its job.
Now, this isn't just a cool idea in a lab somewhere. It's already out there, making a huge difference. Let's look at how this science is already being used for some of the most common skin conditions out there. Let's start with psoriasis, a condition millions of people deal with. For a long, long time, if you had moderate to severe disease, your options for an oral treatment, a pill, were pretty limited. But a brand new approval has totally changed the game.
And you don't have to take my word for it. You can just feel the excitement in this quote from Bristol Myers Squibb. They call it an exciting day, especially for people who felt like they had run out of options. This isn't just a small step forward. It's a giant leap for people who've been waiting for something better.
So what's the big deal about Sotyktu? Well, it's a completely new mechanism, all in a once-a-day pill. For patients who haven't had any luck with creams or older treatments, this is the first totally new type of oral option to come along in almost a decade. That's huge. And the progress definitely doesn't stop with psoriasis. We're seeing huge strides in treating atopic dermatitis. You probably know it as eczema, which can cause that awful, intense itching and inflammation. And here's that targeted approach again, but in a totally different form. Opzelura is a cream, but it's the first of its kind. It's a topical JAK inhibitor, so it works right on the skin to block those specific signals that cause that relentless itch, offering a whole new line of defense when other creams just haven't been enough. If you're not convinced about the speed of all this, just look at this timeline. The momentum is just incredible. I mean, check this out. In a little over 1 year, we saw that new cream for eczema, then a targeted drug for psoriatic arthritis. And then boom, in September 2022, you get two big ones, a first-ever treatment for GPP flares, and that new oral drug for plaque psoriasis. This is not a slow trickle, my friends. This is a flood of innovation. Now, what's maybe even more powerful is that this new science isn't just for the most common conditions. It's also bringing real, tangible hope to people with rarer and often much more severe diseases that, well, they just didn't have many options before. I mean, just look at some of these examples. For a type of scarring hair loss, a class of drugs that blocks a certain enzyme can now help slow it down or even stop it in its tracks.
For a serious autoimmune disorder called dermatomyositis, an IV antibody therapy is now officially approved. And for GPP, that severe and rare form of psoriasis, there is finally a specific approved treatment for its painful flares. This is absolutely life-changing stuff.
So, with all this happening so fast, you have to wonder, where are we going from here? Let's take a look at what's in the pipeline, because this wave of innovation is far from over.
Okay, just real quick, it helps to know this basic pipeline. A drug starts in smaller phase 2 trials. If it looks good, it goes to bigger phase 3 trials. And if those are successful, all the data gets bundled up and sent to the FDA for approval. Knowing this lets us see just how close some of these next-gen treatments really are. Okay, now this is something to get really excited about, especially if you've ever dealt with acne. There's a totally new approach being tested. It's a topical drug that actually stops the production of oil, or sebum, right at the source. If this works, it would be the first time ever that a treatment can tackle acne in this way, a completely new mechanism. And the list just keeps going. For chronic hives, there's a promising new oral drug. For acne, another topical has already finished its big trials and is basically waiting for the green light. Plus, there's a recently approved cream called Winlevi, which is the first to work by blocking certain hormones right at the skin level. The pipeline is absolutely packed. So when you put it all together, it's clear we've stepped into a brand new era of precision dermatology. We're moving away from just managing a disease to actually controlling it at the molecular level. And that leaves us with one final, really exciting question to think about. With science moving this fast and getting this precise, what's the next condition that we think of as untreatable today that's going to be solved tomorrow?